Sarah. I just wanted to do a demo of a JavaScript project I had worked on and give kind of a high-level overview of what's happening. So here we have a web page. It has a table full of data of UFO sightings, and the goal of this project was really to be able to dynamically filter this table using multiple criteria. So you can see as I'm changing the values here, it's filtering by everything that is in my filter section. So we take a look here. Our setup, we have an HTML page. We have our data, which is being stored in an array in its own JavaScript file, just because there's a lot of it. And then we have an app with 3 core functions. So we have a function to build a table, we have a function to update the filters, and then we have a function to filter the table. So for this first function here, we're using this D3 library to target all of these HTML tags. So if we take a look at our web page here, let's just do it here. So we can see we have the same table body, we have our table rows, and we have all of the table data tags, which should look familiar. So basically what we're doing is we're pointing at this data variable and we're saying for each object in that data array, what we want to do is append a table row. Then for each of those table rows, we want to add a table data tag, and the tag is going to be equal to the value, or the value is going to be equal to the text. So you can see that these values, that's what's going to be placed into these table data tags here. So next we have our function to update our filters. First we declared a global variable, and then we are using this D3 library again. So it points to whatever properties are being changed. So basically we want to save the value that we enter. We want to attribute that value to the ID. So when we look at our index page here, we have our different IDs, date, time, city, state, country, shape, which we see are the criteria for our filters. So when we do filter something, let's just say San Diego. If we take a look at our console, and we just log our filters, we can see that we have our ID and the value here. So then we have this if statement here to update this filters, and it says that when we enter a value, add it to the filters list. Otherwise, if there's no value there, then delete it from the list. So that's, I think, part of the dynamic element here where, you know, if I delete this, it's going to remove that. We shouldn't see anything come back. So there's no filters right now. So the filter, the ID has been removed, the value, I guess. So there's that. And then finally, I thought this was really interesting when I started. So we're calling the filter table function before we declare it, which is very different than Python. So I was very surprised to see that while doing this project. So our last function here is the filter table function. So we are setting a variable of our filter data equal to our table data. That's the first um, variable that we declared. And we're just doing that to create a non-destructive copy, so we're not, changing the data at all. And basically all we're going to do is just loop through all the filters and keep the data that matches the filter values. And then build a table using that filtered data using this build table function. So we're reusing this code. So we're using that code when we first load the page. Right down here at the bottom, we use that build table. And we're also using it to build a table every time that there is a change. And this statement here is just telling us to listen for anything that changes in our form. So yeah, this is really the core of it. I hope you think this is as interesting as I do. I'll put a link to the repository, the code in the description. And thanks for watching.